my detox drink so I can get that out the way because I did not do it this morning. So we have C for cayenne pepper. How are you? L for lemon. I did a little bit less than a lemon because it's at night and I don't want to have a lot of energy right now. I would have preferred the energy during the day. So L for lemon. A for apple cider vinegar. 1 tablespoon. Gonna add a little bit of my water in here and gulp this down. Remember, you want to drink that. Oh, that's nice. Remember, you want to drink the drink 30 minutes before you brush your teeth, so before bed. So A for apple cider vinegar. I have the water in here. S for sweetener, which I'm going to skip, and put my diatomaceous earth. So I put 1/4 teaspoon. Hi, how are you? And then E for extra virgin olive oil, which is here helping me hold my iPad. Hopefully that doesn't fall off. So we have 1 tablespoon. And I'm gonna go ahead and drink that and then get started on my topic for tonight, which is adrenal fatigue. I'm gonna go ahead and drink this. The diatomaceous earth. Oh. So that's day 45 of my Claws detox drink. And I'm going to switch it up. Sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night. At night, I'm going to be sure that when I have it at night, I drink 2 to 3 glasses of water in the morning so it could really flush out my system and get me ready for the day. So, so you put diatomaceous earth in yours too? Let me know. So guys, tonight I wanted to talk about adrenal fatigue. And of course you're always going to be burping when you finish this drink. It just tells you that it's working in your digestive system. But I've been dealing with adrenal fatigue since 2014. And it's something that people are not really up on. They don't know about adrenal fatigue. They don't know the symptoms of adrenal fatigue. They don't know what to look for. They don't know what to do and the whole 9 yards. So I'm going to try to give you as much information as I can. If you're watching on the now, you ask whatever questions you want to ask, and on the replay, I will try to answer what I can via DM. I've had a lot of customers reach out to me when I started posting things on Instagram stories about adrenal fatigue, and they were reaching out to me asking for help. So I will try to provide as much help as I can, but that's why I wanted to do the live stream so we can talk about it live and answer as many questions as I can. Have for years, just got off. Ah, okay. Well, I'm new to diatomaceous earth. This is I've been drinking it for 1 month. I've been having it for 1 month, so it's very new to me. So I'm still getting used to it. I didn't know I was sharing with you. So adrenal fatigue. What is adrenal fatigue? First of all, adrenal fatigue is more of an Eastern, I shouldn't say more of an Eastern diagnosis. It's just more the Eastern doctors are more familiar with adrenal fatigue than Western doctors. So if you go to a Western doctor and you say, I think I have adrenal fatigue, they're not going to understand what you're talking about. They're going to probably give you diagnosis as depression or anxiety or panic attack or some other type of diagnosis, but they're not going to know what adrenal fatigue is. How do I know? Because in 2014, And I'm going to give you a little bit of my backstory so you understand. I was in and out of the hospital quite a few times. I want to say 5 times over the course of the year. I'm feeling a little dehydrated. Let me get something to drink. Ah, nice. Okay. Yes, diatomaceous earth is very good, especially for animals and worms. So, going in and out of the hospital several times, and every time I ended up in the hospital, they ran blood work. I would tell the doctors how I'm feeling, what's going on. They could never pinpoint what was going on. One of the times I was in the hospital, I was working out at the gym, and my heart rate went really fast. Even when I wasn't doing anything, my heart rate was really fast. So I ended up in the hospital. They had me on a heart monitor for 3 days, trying to figure out what's going on with my heart. Their diagnosis was arrhythmia. So they didn't know. So after a while, a friend told me, when I was telling her my problem, she was like, Donata, you need to go see a holistic doctor. You need to take time to go see a holistic doctor to really figure out what's going on with you. You know, holistic doctors are not cheap. And this is while I wasn't working. So I went ahead and gathered my pennies and went to see this holistic doctor in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Got there within 30 minutes of sitting down, explaining my symptoms to the doctor. She was able to tell me that I had adrenal fatigue. Mind you, I went through months of trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And at that time, I would get very tired, very exhausted, like I'm starting to feel again now. Very exhausted. Every little thing I do, I'm feeling drained and tired. And it doesn't matter what I do, I just couldn't pull it together. Once my body crashed for the day, I had to be in bed at that time. It didn't matter what else I had planned, what else I needed to do, I had to be in bed. So that was one symptom. 2, I was having a lot of panic attacks, and I didn't understand why. I had insomnia, tossed and turned. It was hard for me to fall asleep. I would get very dehydrated. So even if I was drinking a lot of water, which I learned, though you drink a lot of water, you can flush your electrolytes. So I was drinking water and flushing my electrolytes and still being dehydrated. That was another symptom. Something else I kept doing, I always felt when I was breathing, I wasn't bringing in enough air. I didn't have shortness of breath. Because shortness of breath is, you know, and when I take a breath, I didn't feel I was bringing enough air into my system. And there were so many other symptoms. Oh my goodness, my battery's almost low on Instagram. There were so many other symptoms that I had, which I can't remember at this time because I would journal. But I remember looking at my journal not too long ago, and I remember writing, wow, today was a good day. I was able to cook. So that just made me realize, wow, if I was happy that I was able to cook, then my energy was really low, where even cooking a meal was a lot for me. So one of the things that the doctor said, digestive issues was another one. So her question was, when I was telling her my symptoms, always bloated, always issues with my digestive system. So of course she put a meal plan together. She told me what I could and could not eat. Thank you for joining on Instagram. How are you? I'm talking about adrenal fatigue. So she gave me a meal plan of what I could or could not eat. You know, cut out corn, cut out gluten, cut out... one of the things that I was doing a lot in 2014 was working out. I would go to the gym 2-3 hours, hands down, no problem. I would be in the gym with my music. You talk about beast mode. I went beast mode, lifting 20-pound curl bicep, doing bicep curls, 20 pounds. I was that girl at the gym where I see somebody doing 5 pounds. It's like, oh, I'm doing 20. Like, I love lifting weights. I mean, it went all the way back in high school. everybody would pick, you know, arts and dance and whatever, and I'd be that girl saying, oh, give me weight training as my extracurriculum activity. And I did weight training for 4 years, so I love lifting weights. So back in 2014, when I'd go to the gym, spend 2-3 hours lifting weights, get home and crash, I just thought it's because I was lifting a lot of weights. I did not know it was adrenal fatigue. So that was another thing. So when she gave me the diet plan of what I cannot eat, she said I had to stop lifting weights. Yeah, I love it. She said I had to stop lifting weights, which was like, oh. She said I had to slow down on exercising, and my exercise, because what happens with, just to go back a little bit, what can trigger adrenal fatigue is stress. So I'm all over the place, but I'm going to step back. You know how if you're scared of dogs and a dog is running behind you, you automatically go into that fight or flight mode. You take off. You don't think twice. You don't know what's going on. Something inside of you, your adrenals kick up and you gone. So adrenal fatigue for people, when you have adrenal fatigue, that fight or flight switch that turns on doesn't turn off. So in normal people, when you need your adrenals to push you to the next level, it pushes you, it turns off. For people that suffer from adrenal fatigue, that switch goes on and it stays on. So your energy, like as if your body was a computer in the background, or as if in a phone, your apps in the background keeps running, your adrenal keeps running. So your energy starts to dissipate throughout the day. So that's a little explanation about adrenal fatigue. So if you're stressed, if you go through relationship issues at your job, financial issues, whatever that stressful thing is, if it's causing a lot of stress on your body, mentally and physically, you can start having adrenal fatigue. And guys, I'm sorry if I'm all over the place and I'm a little off. Today is like the worst day for me. That's why I know my adrenal fatigue is acting up. I'm so exhausted. I had to pull myself together to do this live stream because I said I want to talk about this topic. And what better time to talk about it than when I'm actually going through it. So I had to pull myself together to do this live stream. So if you notice that I'm like taking deep breath, it's just like, oh my gosh, my adrenals are starting to act up again. One thing I could tell you, if you're having, I'm going to go through some symptoms that I pulled up on the computer. If you're having this issue, if you feel that some of the symptoms I talk about, you have it, please go to a holistic doctor and get yourself checked. This is not one of those things you want to push yourself to the limit and think you're going to overcome. No, you have to take a step back. And with me, in 2014, I didn't know I was having this issue, so I kept pushing myself. There's different stages of adrenal fatigue. There's 4 stages. I was stage 4. So I was at that point where I was borderline stage 4, where you could be bedridden for months. I was in between because I had to stay home. I couldn't work during that time. Even if I wanted to work, I didn't have enough energy during the day to work. Another thing. So speaking about energy, when I was trying to get better, so the doctor gave me the whole what to eat, what not to eat. What I had to do to get better, I had to take walks on the beach. I had to literally do what you call earthing. So I had to be barefooted and walk on the beach because the walking on the beach would balance my body. So it would take, your body's full of positive ions and the earth is negative ions. So the earth, when you're earthing, walking barefooted on the grass or sand, it pulls your negative ions. So it pulls the overload of positive ions. Positive ions on your body and help to balance you. That was one of the regimen. Another thing she wanted me to do is yoga. I had to do yoga to help balance and center me. She asked me to meditate, and the biggest thing she asked me to do is to lower my stress. So I had to literally say, okay, what are the things that are causing a lot of stress in my life? Let me either take them away or lower them. So at that time, thank goodness, I wasn't working. It was tough because there was the stress of the financial aspect, but at the same time, I knew I had to build my body up. So these are some of the things that she told me to do. I'm gonna go over the symptoms right now, and I'm happy that I haven't had, honestly, I wanna say, it took me 2 years to recover. One of the things I had to do, just imagine a balloon. You blow air in a balloon and you watch the air come out. That's awesome. Yoga is amazing for so many things. Just imagine you're blowing air in a balloon and you can manage how much air comes out of the balloon. That's how I had to manage my life for 2.5 years. So in the morning I'll be full of energy, and I literally had to manage my energy. Just like you manage your money, you manage your time, you manage how much you eat. I had to manage my energy. Give me 1 second, guys. These dogs are making a lot of noise. Hold on. Craig. Come on, Monty. Craig. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't want the dogs to be making too much noise and you couldn't hear me. So what I had to do is in the morning I would wake up and I had to plan my day. So during that time I used to do a lot of speaking engagements. I used to do a lot of programs. So what I would do is if I had a program, let's say on a Friday to do, on Thursday I would stay home and stay in bed and sleep. That's how I would manage my energy. If I had to do something late at night, I would stay home during the day, sleep, rest, let my body rejuvenate, go do that event. At that time, I could not wake up in the morning and just go like I'm doing now. I would crash. And when I mean crash, my energy would get lower and lower and lower, and I'm like this, and I'm like, okay, it's time for me to get in bed. So that's how I had to manage my energy. So a lot of people, they have that issue right now where their energy is very low. They're dragging throughout the day. They have to do whatever they can to get through the day. And what are you doing? You're drinking soda. You're drinking Red Bull or the energy drink. You're drinking coffee. When I hear people saying, oh, I got to drink 2 to 3 cups of coffee to make it through the day, I'm thinking to myself, no, your body is trying to tell you something. Listen to your body. Your body is trying to say it can't make it through the day on its own. Why can't your body make it through the day on its own? Maybe you're struggling with adrenal fatigue. Maybe your adrenals are just exhausted. So and I know a lot of people are going to be watching this on a replay, and I pray that there is just some light that turns on, because you don't want to get to a point. There's this young lady, and it's funny because I can pick up, when you go through something, you can relate and see when somebody else is going through it. There was this young lady, very good friend of mine. She used to do programs with kids, and we used to be connected quite often when I was doing my more nonprofit programs. She would be talking to me, and most of the time while she's talking to me, her eyes are closing. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, do you feel A, B, C, D, and F? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, it's your adrenals that are acting up. You have to take care of yourself. And her response was, well, I can't slow down. The thing is about life, if you do not listen to your body and slow down, your body is going to make you slow down. I wasn't listening to my body when I would get so tired. No, the next day I get up, I go in the gym 3 hours, boom, 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 come home. It was so bad, I couldn't even shower after I came from the gym. I had to drop myself on the bed. That's how tired I was. But I didn't realize that it was something more going on, and I didn't know anything about adrenal fatigue. So now that I know, like I started to say, in 2017 was that year where I felt, okay, I can do more. I can run my business better. I can get up in the morning. I can get a part-time job. I can go a little bit more. Now I'm realizing it's been a year since I really felt a little crash effect. Now I'm starting to feel it. And I'm trying to ask myself, which I honestly know the answer. Now that I started working out, I started lifting weights again. Although I'm not lifting heavy weights, I'm lifting 5-10 pounds, but clearly my body can't handle it. So I'm gonna have to back up on the weights again and do exercises that's more, working with my body weight versus using weight. Because the thing is, when you lift weights, it drains your energy. So it zaps your energy. So it's already pulling, the muscles are pulling all the energy out of you, and you only had a little bit to begin with. So if you continue doing that, that stress on your muscles in your body starts to stress your adrenals, and that causes more problems. So I'm gonna go over some symptoms that I feel that you guys can relate to, and if you guys are having this issue, again, watch the full replay. And the best advice I can tell you is take some time and see a holistic doctor, because that will be life-changing for you. So, unable to fall asleep despite being tired. That's one of the things that I shared with you guys. I had troubles falling asleep, and that's happening again now. The last week I noticed it's been hard for me to fall asleep. Waking up in the middle of the night for no reason, tossing and turning. Heart palpitations at night when you're stressed. This is why I know it's happening again, and it happened before. At night, I would get so anxious. And it's one of those things where stress causes adrenal fatigue, and you're trying not to stress. So this week, I want to say 3 nights ago, I'm trying to go to sleep, and my body is wired. Literally, inside my body's going like this. And I'm laying in the bed, and I'm like, okay. Calm down. You can't stress. Calm down. This is your adrenal fatigue. You're making your adrenal fatigue worse. So it's one of those, oh my gosh, I'm jumping in and out of both. But inside my body was like this. When your body starts feeling wired, you have to find a way to calm it down. That is not good for your system. So what I end up doing, I put on meditation music. I like to listen to the rain and thunderstorms. So I put that on YouTube, and that helped to calm me. So that's another symptom if you're having heart palpitations at night or when you're stressed. Consistent low blood pressure, low libido, low thyroid, which if you're not familiar with adrenal fatigue and hypothyroidism can go together. So that's something that you want to look into. If you have hypothyroidism, look into adrenal fatigue also, because a lot of the symptoms go hand in hand. Feeling hypoglycemia even though your lab results show it's normal. Depression, often unresolved after antidepressants. I noticed when I was going through adrenal fatigue, my hardest part through adrenal fatigue, I would have these depression dips up and down. I'll be good one day, the next day I'm feeling depressed. I'll be good one day, the next day I was feeling depressed. Or I'd feel depressed for a long time, and then I'll come back up. Thank God for me, I would know when I'm a little depressed, so I'd kind of force my way back up. But there is times I didn't know, and I'd stay in that little dip area a little too long, and then I try to pull myself out of it. So if you're struggling with adrenal fatigue, depression is a real fluctuation when you're struggling with that. Endometriosis, uterine fibroids, I just lost what I was reading, 1 second. Fibrocystic breast disease, hair falling out for no reason. So if you're having hair loss and you don't, and it's so funny, if stress causes adrenal fatigue, stress will also cause hair loss. So be mindful of that. Irritable under stress, anxiety, like I told you guys before, feeling very anxious and very wired. Hey Doriel, how are you? I'm talking about adrenal fatigue, the symptoms, my experience, and kind of what the doctors told me I need to do so I can share with others so they can be mindful. Panic attacks, I told you guys, listen, those panic attacks were real. I remember I was that person when my sister used to have panic attacks. She'd have panic attacks where she had to breathe through the bag. Yes, I did my drink before I started. She'd have panic attacks when she had to breathe through a bag, and I used to think to myself, that's all mental. I mean, just tell yourself, talk to yourself, so you don't have the panic attack. Don't let yourself get to that point. Listen, when you don't know something, you keep your mouth shut. It's not until I had my first panic attack did I realize panic attacks are so real, it's not even funny. So me, when my adrenals are acting really, really, really bad, which thank God it's not to that point right now because I haven't had a panic attack in a little while. I just had the wiry feeling. I would jump out of bed as if I thought I was going to die. And thank goodness I read something about when you're having a panic attack, you need to do 5 things. And I don't know if I'm going to remember all 5 right now. But one of the things is to touch 3 things, smell, breathe in and out 3 times, look at 3 different things, listen for different sounds, and I don't remember the 5th one. I know it doesn't have to do with taste. But that helped me in my panic attack. That helped me to realize by doing these different things, I'm bringing myself back. I'm calming my system down and kind of slowing down to realize, okay, this is not a panic attack. One thing I would do is deep breathe also. So I would jump out of bed and I feel like I'm going to die. And of course, you're having a panic attack. Your heart is beating so fast. So the first thing I would do is like, oh, Jesus, no, Jesus, no. I'd start praying. And then I grab my bottle of water, drink my water. For some reason, drinking water helped calm me down. And then I would start doing deep breathing. And by the time I start doing deep breathing, I'll feel my heart rate slow down. But the panic attacks were real, real severe. There was times it would happen every single night, a few times a night. And that's when my adrenal fatigue was really, really, really bad. So I thank God I'm not dealing with panic attacks. So panic attack, as I explained to you guys earlier, feeling wired and unable to relax. Feeling of adrenal rush through your body. I never really felt that. Maybe I never paid attention to it, but feeling the actual adrenal rush through your body. Foggy thinking. When you're having problems with adrenal fatigue, you'll feel very foggy and like you can't concentrate. Your mind is all over the place. Your thinking is not clear. Inability to handle stress. It's funny, I'm reading these symptoms and some stuff are coming back to me. When my adrenal fatigue was at its worst, there were certain TV shows I couldn't watch. One of them being Scandal. I couldn't watch any shows that had a lot of violence or a lot of drama. It would stress the crap out of me. And telling somebody else that it may sound weird, but watching those shows really stressed me. And I remember I used to love Scandal, and I'd watch Scandal halfway and say, okay, I can't, because I'm feeling palpitations and feeling very, very anxious. So if you're feeling like you have adrenal fatigue, even something as simple as maybe listening to music that will stress you or watching something that will stress you, be very mindful of that. Waking up feeling very tired in the morning, even after a full night's rest. inability to take in simple carbohydrates, feeling tired in the afternoon between 3 to 5 o'clock. So with people that have adrenal fatigue, you'll feel very drained between 3 to 5 o'clock. You'll feel a second wind. If you don't go to bed by 10, you feel after 10 o'clock, you feel like you have so much energy. Don't be fooled by that. If you're struggling with adrenal fatigue, you want to get to bed by 10 o'clock. Why? Because your body goes through its cycle of rejuvenating certain organs at certain times. Give me a second, Facebook. I'm going to unplug the charge and charge my phone, and hopefully I'll have enough charge. I'll try to hurry this up so I can get through this. In the middle of the night, your body is on a clock cycle. So there's certain organs that rejuvenate every 2 hours. And I can't remember each organ at this time. But if I remember correctly, the liver is from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. or 11 to 1. I think the liver is 11 to 1. So that's why they say when you have adrenal fatigue, you want to go to sleep by 10 o'clock so you're already sleeping, so your body can rejuvenate that organ from 11 to 1. And also you want to wake up after 8 o'clock in the morning, which is hard. 6 to 8 o'clock in the morning is the normal time everybody's waking up. So you want to be sure you get to bed at 10 o'clock. I'm just throwing that in. It's not in here. That's something that I learned through traditional Chinese medicine and through seeing the holistic doctor. Needing coffee to keep you going throughout the day and to help you through the morning. Coffee, tea, or any energy drinks trigger adrenal rush, which causes adrenal crash. When you have adrenal fatigue, you will feel very dehydrated. So you want to be sure you drink a lot of water and you drink things that have electrolytes in it, like coconut water, watermelon juice. Craving for salty foods like potato chips and fatty foods that are high in protein and high in fat. Actually, it does say it here. Feeling tired between 9 and 10 p.m., but still finding it hard to go to sleep, go to bed. Dry skin more than usual. Mind, body, skin, and hair. I tell you, everything is connected. Unexplained hair loss. Exercise helps first, but then makes fatigue worse. So you have to be careful of what exercise you do. So I'm going to have to cut down on my exercise and be more mindful about my adrenal fatigue. Sensitive to chemicals. Delayed food sensitivities, unable to get pregnant, requiring IVF. Abdominal fat accumulation for no apparent reason. Your stomach gets bigger around this area, which ties in with the hyperthyroidism also. And the reason why your stomach gets bigger around this area is because of the cortisol, that you have extra cortisol in your system, and that will cause weight gain around your midsection. Cold hands and feet, inability to concentrate and focus, psoriasis for no reason, another skin condition, low back pain, dizziness for no known cause, and the dizziness really is tied to the low blood pressure. So there is a ton of symptoms that tie into adrenal fatigue, and a lot of these symptoms could be the cause of something else, but then again it could be adrenal fatigue. As I said, Eastern medicine, Western medicine is not familiar with this. Eastern is. So you go to your regular primary physician, you tell them some of these things that's going on with you. They may say, well, you have anxiety, and it's not anxiety, it's adrenal fatigue. So they're treating you for anxiety when you need to be treated for adrenal fatigue. So a lot of these conditions cross. So if you're having these issues and you can't find relief, you can't find answers, definitely Google. Simple Google search. What are the symptoms of adrenal fatigue? And there's a ton of information out there. I'm going to start wrapping it up. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to share when it comes to the symptoms. Shortness of breath, even though breathing is fine. So, yeah. Goodness gracious, I have to slow it down. Hyperthyroidism. Legs that feel heavy at times. Dark circles under the eyes that do not go away with rest. Jeez. Loss of healthy facial skin tone color. Body feeling tense all over and unable to relax. Let's see if there's any more that can be relatable. Your cycle is irregular. It stops and goes. Your electrolytes is in balance despite normal laboratory, which is electrolytes is what keeps, when I talked about dehydration, that has to do with your electrolytes. Fibromyalgia unresolved after conventional help. Chronic fatigue syndrome unimproved with medicine. And IBS, wow, with more constipation and diarrhea. I didn't realize, I never associated IBS with adrenal fatigue. So both of my devices are lower than 10%, so I don't want to be cut off. Guys, I hope you've learned something about adrenal fatigue. If you didn't know anything about adrenal fatigue, you've picked up some pointers. Take a look at your life. Take a look at your stress level. If you're not at the point where I was with adrenal fatigue, thank God for you, because it took a long time to be where I am right now. Take it easy. Take time for you. Do a little self-care. You have to put yourself first. Like I tell you guys all the time, if you don't put yourself first, how can you give 100% to someone else? So if you need more tips on adrenal fatigue, if you feel like you're going through it, let's talk about it. And if you live in Miami, Florida, or Fort Lauderdale, I can refer you to the doctor that helped me to get back on track. And if you live out of state, you want to look up a naturopathic doctor, ND, or even just go to a holistic doctor, the Chinese doctors. They'll be able to help you through acupuncture, which I did a lot of acupuncture during that time to get my body rebalanced, okay? Hopefully you learned a lot. I'm going to shut down now and really try to get to bed early and get myself back to normal so I can get my energy back to how it should be. Okay, guys? Love you guys. Oh, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Donata Joseph from Donata Skinfood. Here to talk to you about all things mind, body, and skin. You guys have a great night. I will put this video on YouTube for you guys to further look at. Bye.